Welcome in to episode 145 of About the Cards podcast, live tonight on YouTube, as always, with me, host Stephen Loeffler at Junkwax Twins, Ben Wilson at our Trading Cards, and I'm Tim Shepler at Big Shep 79. We are a podcast by collectors for collectors. So whenever you a smart, insightful podcast discussing trading card collecting, we're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific,
10 Central,
on YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch. Follow us on Twitter at About the Cards. We're available as a podcast everywhere you can find one. Check out the website, aboutthecards.wordpress.com. What is up, fellas? How are we doing tonight?
Well, my internet is crapping out, so that's why you got no video. But outside of that, it's been a non-eventful week.
Any fun collecting stories this week?
Got a couple packages in the mail, so that's a plus. It's always nice to receive some mail day, expecting and otherwise.
Yeah, I spilled all over myself here. I had a crazy surprise mail day, and I haven't put pictures out yet because I just opened a little bit ago. But this comes from our buddy, the Mike Summer.
Oh, nice.
First of all, I believe, because he has an awesome grading company we talked about last week. I told you I knew of a guy that was coming out. There could be a new grading company. And I think I have the first official card from Wax Pack Heroes grading card company, Swag. If you didn't see that, they're guaranteeing every pop is a one-of-one pop because they're going to the 10th. They're going 10 decimals deep. So I have a 1987 Fleer Kevin Mitchell, graded at 9.9889147799 with the blue matching highlighter to the card.
Very nice.
So I'm going to save that. I had a pile of minor league Royals card team sets I didn't have, like from the 85 and 87.
Of
course. By the way, I might have to leave the show early tonight because, as Ben has told me, my boy G Hamp is 3 for 4 tonight.
Yeah, but he didn't score that run from second base, so yeah. I would hold if he doesn't have, because I mean he was like 2 for 3 with 2 runs. I'd put him 3 for 4 with a double and 3 runs. And so you're probably leaving a good 225, 250 on the table.
Yeah, I mean, he sent me a bunch of G-Hamp cards. A Bubba Starling Stadium Club parallel, my buddy. He sent me some Georgia Brett cards I don't have. You can imagine that. A 3D.
86.
Other stuff. Check this out.
Love that.
Yeah.
Fancy.
And then he sent me this might be older than both me and Ben.
That's pretty. I love that.
And this is what I'm going to spend the night reading.
Pretty ugly.
Baseball Register from 1981. George Brett on the cover of a sport magazine. And Larry Guerra on the cover of Sports Collectors Digest from December 15th, 1980. So I was just a little over a year old.
Nice.
So those are, if somebody's listening to sounds like the Twins game, those are how I'm going to be spending my evening.
Should probably mute himself if he is.
Yeah, just so we don't get any trouble with the YouTube.
I was playing through. Sorry, I
just want to say thank you, Mikey. He sent me a nice little note in there, and I didn't put any pictures up yet on Twitter. I've been kind of busy tonight, but I wanted to share that. So
yeah, and I was telling the guys before the show that I had bought the entire 1989 Topps Talking Baseball team set as 8 cards. Jackson and McGuire cost me about 8 of that. All 8 cards, got them in. They look a lot nicer than the ones I would have had as a kid. Could not find the ones as a kid. And then our former guest and loyal listener and good friend Chris Anderson's like, hey, do you have the machine? And I was like, yeah, I think out in the garage. So I went out and dug out the machine, which was still in the box. And as soon as I opened it up to pull the machine out, there goes like the entire set of Talking Baseball, including the A's I had just bought. So good job me for wasting $20, but unfortunately, the machine doesn't work, so I couldn't listen to a Tony La Russa and a Tommy Lasorda interview from like 1986. But might have to pick up that machine because those are pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. By the way, sell Shohei Ohtani rookie cards right now. They've just been flying out of my eBay store, like legit. I can't keep up. It's been crazy. We'll talk about that later.
You bought those for $1 each, right?
A majority of them, yeah.
When he was injured. That was a good investment on your part. Mm-hmm. Great investment.
Perfect way to speculate. I'm just telling you, like it was after all the hype, and I want to talk about this later. But yeah, so we'll have some fun with that tonight, and all the smart folks out there trying to get up on the hobby. Let's hop into it. The week that was last week's releases. Topps Living Week 160. We had card 401 Bobby Dahlbeck, rookie first baseman for the Red Sox, sold just over 4,000. Card 402 Darryl Strawberry of the former outfielder of the New York Mets, sold about 2,600 cards. About what we expected. By the way, I was watching the Red Sox play the Orioles this weekend, and I looked at that Red Sox team, and it was like, who and what? And that guy's what? Watching those two teams, it was like watching a Commons box, a discarded Commons box at Goodwill play each other. Because there was like nobody on either one of those teams that you're like, oh, yay. So there's the lovely photos of the aforementioned living from last week. So, it's funny. We're on episode 145, and we've had 160 weeks of Topps Living. So I feel like we're like tied together. I think we're the only ones in the hobby talking about Topps Living anymore.
Well,
every week it's just.
That was a huge topic when we first started. I mean, it was brand new. It was unlike anything we had ever seen before. This infinite set that is it going to go 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? I mean, yeah, it was a good topic for our first couple dozen shows.
Yeah, it was. We also had 2021 Bowman First Edition, 2021. See, this is hard when it's 2021 product or it's 2021 product when it's a slash year, right? So I don't know, guys. How do you want me to say it? 21 Bowman's First Edition, then 2021 Panini Prism Basketball. That sounds right.
Yeah, all the time about that. Hey, I need you to look at 1920 upper deck. And he's like, oh, I thought you had something interesting for a minute from 1920. No, Rich. There's the slash.
And then we also had 21 Topps Definitive Collection as well.
That we did.
Hot off the presses, this week's new release. Topps Living Week 161. 403 Nolan Arenado, third baseman of the St. Louis Cardinals. That just does not roll off the tongue. Good. You know what? Good for him. He's on the Cardinals. We have card 404, Luis Garcia, rookie second baseman of the Washington Nationals. Perfect. Another combo of a vet and a rookie in back-to-back weeks. I like it. It's awesome. I love the hat they used on the Washington Nationals. That's a cool hat.
Not only the hat, but also the vintage W with the not the courthouse, but the Senate dome in the background.
Yeah. Very cool. According to our real close friend and good buddy, Cardboard Stats, Arenado joins a group of 8 players with a second card. Ben's favorite, Manny Machado, Bryce Harper, Yasiel Puig, Avisail Garcia, J.P. Crawford, Nick Castellanos, Garrett Cole, and Anthony Rendon. Okay, so I get Machado, Harper. I kind of understand Puig, but he's whatever. Avisail Garcia has 2 cards, and J.P. Crawford has 2 cards. Are you kidding me? Castellanos.
But why?
Yeah, why are those 2 guys have cards? And Cole and Rendon, I get. It's a weird kind of group. Look at that. Oh, my gosh. Just bing, 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 bing. Sorry about that. Shohei, baby. All day Shohei.
I'm surprised.
I'm going to have to leave.
I'm surprised that Eminem, Manny Machado, doesn't have his third card. He's been with the Padres now. You would have assumed he would have had another one now just because they want to illustrate, what this set. Garcia had a couple good years. I can kind of understand that.
Yeah, I don't know. I would welcome at this point a Machado. I'd rather see a Machado third card than some of the other guys they've been running out. So
yeah, he's still on a Hall of Fame trajectory. Whether or not
I would still like to see like a Willie McCovey or a Juan Marichal.
Any Giants that it's not like haven't been around for a century plus and had some of the most well known players of
Monty Irvin
all time. Yeah. I mean, it's and
I
to
think
me,
a
I
Brandon
think
Belt.
You know who would be an awesome addition to this set, especially since the facial hair would be epic. Which Giant am I talking about? Not a mainstream guy.
Oh, Brian Wilson.
Nah, well, Brian Wilson would be cool. I was thinking Rod Beck.
Oh yes, man, he would do it.
Beck is passed away for some years now, so I don't know if maybe there's a licensing issue there at play. But to me, it's just like guys like Rod Beck. I know we've talked about Julio Franco before. Guys that were just fun, that weren't superstars, maybe had some really good years here and there. But I think those fan favorites, like Topps Archives fan favorite autos, if you took that list and put it over on Topps Living, I think you could grab some really fun characters.
You know what a guy I would like to see? The 1987 Topps traded version of this, Terry Steinbach. Because he's got that, like, his hat almost looks neon green in there, and it looks so cool. Yeah. And he was he was an all-star, and
I got mad at you over that card, in
you
fact,
own
because
Minnesota.
We were at a show, and I was going through your A's, and I've said this on the Zoom chat a while back. I was like, the way you have your team boxes organized and player boxes organized for a show is phenomenal. I was like,
thank you.
It's so easy to just walk by your space and go, I'm an A's fan. Let me grab this, and then I can move on to the next table after I've went through just what I'm looking for, as opposed to having to go through 5,000 cards to maybe pick out two. But I remember grabbing that stack, and I pulled out all your Steinbachs, and I'm like, dude, why do you put these in here? And I was like looking at you like, I was like butt hurt, man. I was like,
I think that's the same show you went and found me like 100 Kevin Seitzer Topps traded too.
Traded straight up. Your 87 Steinbachs for some 87 Fleer Seitzers. It was one of the best trades a couple 40-year-old, 8-year-olds could have made. Yeah.
No, definitely. So I already went and bought my. You know what's awesome is that I was buying from this guy on eBay the last couple times the Topps Living rookies, and I actually got a message from him today. It was an automated message, but saying, "Hey, these are in my store now." And I go, as a seller, that's huge, because I went right to his store and bought them. I didn't even think about it. And so just word to the wise, if you have that ability, something to try. We also have 21 Topps Tribute Baseball came out today, $475 a box. 6 packs per box, 3 cards per pack, 3 autos and 3 mem cards. It's a 100 card set with 100 or with 90 veterans and 10 short print rookies, and those are one in every 18 packs. So they're a pretty tough pull if you do get one. Tribute autographs are the dominant signature set as always. There's Green Monster wall graphs. Those are at 25. They're not only autographs, but have a piece of the green wall, which is pretty awesome. Autograph patches out of 50, and then prime patch 1-of-1 autographs. New this year are engraved great autographs and tribute to Topps. That's over the last 70 years. The Tribute Career Achievement Award series of autographs continues. The first year was 2018, and that was all based on Sandy Koufax. 19 was Hank Aaron. 2020 was Mike Trout. And this time, guys, who do you think they're focusing on for the career achievements?
Pedro Martinez.
Guess? No.
He just took mine.
Derek Jeter.
Who? I actually like that because they haven't done him before. So, I mean,
Topps hasn't used Jeter before.
Yeah, he's not oversaturated in the market. I mean, it really is. That's kind of like under the radar. I like it.
Yeah. There's also dual relics at a. There's also the milestone relics at 10, and those have the actual MLB authentication on them. So that tells you what game they're actually used in, which I think is pretty cool. I always really tribute base cards are sexy to me. I think there's some of the best premium base cards that Topps comes out, and this set really gets lost now because this used to be like a big banger set, right? Like this, if tribute was like very high end, and now it's kind of like a middle of the road set. But I mean, the fact that they give rookies like short prints or 1 in every 18 packs, and you're only getting 6 packs a box, so every 3 boxes you might get 1 rookie card, kind of cool.
That 2012 tribute got me into the hobby more hardcore. I couldn't fathom that a pack was worth $50, which in hindsight is kind of laughable. You had the 4 inners for $50 each or $200 for the box, and I'd see what was being pulled out of this at a local card shop, and I was like, man, I went on eBay and I picked up so much of the 2012, just lower end guys on the checklist, but I get 6 or 7 of them for $50, and they weren't great, but again, at that time I hadn't found my way in the hobby what I chose to collect, like I did now, because I wouldn't do that now. But yeah, to me, tribute solid. It's good thick card stock. But $400 a box, come on.
Yeah, but you know what? A little tough, but like I said, the secondary market's going to be littered with your guys, with your teams, with your base cards, your parallels. And they do it right. I believe there's only like 4 parallels. It's really sharp. Like, they keep it very concise and how it should be. We have 2021 Upper Deck Black Diamond Hockey. Came out today. $350 a box. What's up?
Said yes, please.
$350 a box, 1 pack per box, 6 cards per pack, 5 what they call premium cards, and 1 2021 Exquisite Collection card. It's a 115 card set, all numbered to $299. The Diamond Relics are 1 per inner case, and Diamond Relic parallels will have anywhere from 1 to 4 gems. The base cards, you can tell, are black on one side, and then they have a really like stained glass kind of diamond look to them on the other side, which I think is a pretty sexy looking card. Select base cards will also have a pure black autographs and premium relics. All the diamond rookie relics are numbered to 99. There's gemography autographs, and those are accompanied by a diamond relic. The 2021 Exquisite Collection kicks off in black diamond. Every pack has a card that's going to fall under that exquisite banner, like Exquisite Collection rookies, Rookie Draft Day, Rookie Jumbo Materials, and there's a handful more as part of that set when it comes out. So that's a set they spread around some of their higher end stuff. Just gorgeous looking cards. You're not gonna. It's a nice steep price point, but it's gonna come out when you open the pack. It's beautiful after some of the stuff I've seen. So.
Well, yeah, and some of the preview pictures that I was seeing Cracknell tweet out were just amazing. I'm not just saying that because they were predominantly featured in my Wild. The Upper Deck knows how to make a product.
Yeah. We also had 20 select football drop today. $1,650 a box. 1650 4 digits. 12 packs per box, 5 cards per pack. So a box of 60 cards is going to cost you almost $1,700. 2 autographs, 1 mem, 10 silver parallels, 5 prism parallels, 6 inserts. The 400 card base set, but it's covered over 4 levels. The concourse, which is the most common, premium level, club level, and field level, which is the most scarce. You have 20 XRC Prism redemptions, which one I think is the coolest thing ever. They're redemption cards for this upcoming draft. So it's kind of like a fun little game. There's quarterbacks 1 through 5. So the first quarterback, if you get XRC quarterback 1, it's the first quarterback picked. You get a redemption card for his rookie. And it goes for the first 5 quarterbacks. Also for the first 5 running backs, first 5 receivers, first 2 tight ends, and first 3 defensive players. So pretty awesome.
Time out real quick. Then how okay, so Mojo Breaks opening up 6 boxes of these. How do you figure out who gets?
I watched their break today on this. They ran them up between everybody in the break on any of those they get.
Interesting.
Yeah,
because
it's kind of like a bonus hit.
Obviously, if you get quarterback 1, we know that would go to the Jaguars. And quarterback 2, we know now quarterback 3 with the Niners trade. So if you got any 3 of those, you automatically know that those are the teams, right? But then after that, you'd have no idea. And if I'm getting into a break of this and I'm buying the Jets because I'm a Jets guy, right? And you know that quarterback number 2 is coming to me, or in theory, right? I think it's a novel idea. It's interesting.
Yeah. And they've done it for a couple of years now. I think it's really cool because then it kind of gives you like a lotto ticket for the next draft, and you're kind of like, oh God, is this, and you never know who's going to hit out of those 5 quarterbacks, right? It could be like, I'm telling you, you remember the 99 draft where you had Couch, McNabb, Keely Smith, McCown, and
Culpepper,
right? Out of the whole thing, Culpepper was the 5th one taken, he was taken before me. He was the 4th one taken. He'd probably be in the best one.
Well, imagine getting stuck with a Trubisky. Imagine getting stuck with a Trubisky when you could have had a Mahomes or a Watson in hindsight.
Yeah. Real quick, can you pull up the picture there, the Panini Select? I had to use Cardboard Connection because the link to Ryan's article was dead. It didn't work for Select Football, so I had to go to Cardboard Connection to get this info. But I put a picture of the Select Football. They had this great breakdown of the Prism base parallels, and I don't want to read it. I want to, if you could just show it stuff.
No, we don't want to be a 3-hour show, which is what it would take to read all those parallels.
I mean, look at that.
How many do we, just for people that might not be watching on the YouTube, how many do we think are there? It's got to be about 45, something like that.
So it's dependent on how you get it.
Looks like it's about 22 per level.
Yeah, 15, 20 level.
But to your point, Steph,
so there's 4 levels.
If I'm going after a Joe Burrow rainbow, I mean, it doesn't matter how the person that opened the product acquired it. I mean, I've got to get all levels anyway, right? So, if I got to chase 45 of these suckers.
So it looks like there's, let's just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
While you're counting silently in your own head. This happened a couple of years ago with Panini Prism Baseball, and I remember there was like some stupid 40s or something like that, and the autos had the same thing. I think football was similar as well, and it's just like you couldn't chase a rainbow if you wanted to, because again, some of these just aren't going to hit the market. Some will, most will, but some won't, and be extremely difficult to come by, and it sucks as a player collector. Like we were talking about, Tribute has 4 parallels, and then you get to Select or Prism, and you're looking in the 40s. That's ridiculous.
42. So there's 25 regular base and 17 die cut.
That's incredible.
Counting the black, and the black disco.
And then the printing plates as well.
1 of 1s.
They also have some hobby exclusive inserts, include Phenomenon and selections just for the top overall pick, snapshots featuring impressive images and rookie selections. They also have jumbo rookie signature swatches and jumbo rookie swatches as well. Another football product out this week, so Panini's double dipping. On Friday, 20 Panini Chronicle Panini Contenders optic football drops. $5.50 a box, 1 pack per box, 6 cards per pack, 2 autos, an insert, a parallel, and 2 base cards. 100 card base set. Basically, they took Contenders and dipped it in Chrome. In regular Contenders, the rookies are limited to rookie ticket autographs only. In this, they will have a regular optic base card as well. Rookie ticket RPA autographs come with an on-card signature from the key rookies. Rookie of the Year Contenders autographs as well. They're also using the 2000 Contenders throwback rookie autographs for backdrop for some of those current rookies. And they're also going back to 2012 Contenders for a tribute autograph that recreates the original rookie tickets with new Chrome versions. And they used Russell Wilson as one of those. So same product. It's like all optic stuff. It's a dipped version of a base card product, and it's all shiny and stuff. So Yeehaw, another football product that's going to get you. So make sure you check out Ryan Cracknell's articles on Beckett.com/news for more detail on all these new releases.
Interesting that despite what the NFL says, Justin Jefferson is Rookie of the Year.
And the Eagles, man, I mean, they passed on Jefferson last year by taking another receiver before him, and they did the same thing the year before or 2 years before with Metcalf. It's like the Eagles have the right idea. We need help at wide receiver, but they're grabbing the wrong guy, and badly.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
I like it. What's brewing? Next week's release is 2021 Panini Origins basketball, and then how much is that going to be? $1 million a box, and then 20 Panini National Treasures football. So Panini's just dropping the 2020 football like back to back to back to back to back. So good luck if you collect football. And the NFL draft's just around the corner. So yeah, this is going to get all your money, man. They're going to get your stimulus. They're going to get your tax return. They're going to get your summer vacation money. Boy, that's awesome. Good for them.
How long can you really just keep going about this? Saying, okay, it's payday. Give us your, give us your grand on two products.
A lot of people getting out of this hobby due to just the financial crunch. And I was watching Mojo break the other day. And first off, Bentley comes down the hallway. He looks at the TV and kind of rolls his eyes at me. He goes, "Mojo break again." But I was watching it with my dad, and he's very green when it comes to modern day sports cards outside of what he's picked up from our show and living in the same house as me. But he's watching this and he's like, "How much is this box?" So I was looking up some of the MSRPs, and he's like, "There's no way these people are getting that kind of money out of their buy-in." And it's like, imagine if you bought that privately to where you're not just buying your team, but you're buying the entire box, and that's what you got. And for me, I don't know the secondary market on all of this stuff, especially when it comes to basketball and football, but just looking at it, you can just imagine that return is nowhere near. I mean, Tim, every week that we're on the show and you start saying, "Oh, it's coming in at this price," it's like, okay, hobby, what are we doing? This is getting stupid. And they're
only
pricing
the sport
out
that's not crazy is hockey. Hockey's been pretty consistent about the same price.
Valued.
And NASCAR. Our good buddy Val would tell us that, plus they only have a handful of releases a year.
But see, the thing is you can't flip NASCAR to buy more NASCAR. That's the problem.
No, you'd have to collect it.
Yeah.
You would they're trading cards. You would have to trade them and you would have to collect them. You would have to treat this like a hobby, which is something we do for leisure, not for profit.
Well, no, it's not like if I open a box, right? If I don't collect, like I'm not a big hockey guy, right? But if I open Series 1 or Series 2 and I just want to build the base set, but I pull some cool parallels out of it, I can then take that and sell those parallels and use those parallels to buy the base cards I didn't get, or maybe buy a young gun I want.
Sure.
So at least there's you can flip some of it to get some more of what you had. With NASCAR, that's going to be pretty tough unless you get a really good autograph, or I don't know, something, or get a tie or a date with one of the drivers, right? I mean,
but I think that mentality. I think that mentality is different though in that particular sport, or it just hasn't caught on yet to where it is. The people that are buying that are not thinking about you get a cool parallel, you're probably keeping it, and I don't know for certain. We'd have to ask Val if that's that mentality, but I think if you're just looking to collect and you don't mind, there's probably. I think soccer's kind of. I think we missed the bus on that one. I think soccer's crazy prices now too. But yeah, it's just getting to the point where the common collector is not long for the hobby because that's not what they're making it for.
Well, exactly. One too many weeks of spending $300-$600 on boxes, and you're going to have the wife poking her head in the door, tapping her foot, asking you to mute your microphone and come talk to me real quick.
Which happens, sometimes we're on before the show and somebody's wife hops on and tilts her head sideways and starts wagging her finger, and that's like, glad it wasn't mine this time.
Don't know whose that would happen to.
Who did that?
Also, love you, B. If you do listen to the show,
does it matter that I'm 6'3"? She's 5'2".
No, you coward, dude. I loved it.
The way you were reacting, you looked about as tall as Ben is.
Oh.
But we both muted our microphones and hope she doesn't yell at us too. But if she does want to yell again, just let it be between 8 p.m. and around 9:30-ish p.m. Pacific time, 10 Central, every Wednesday night, because we'd love to get that on camera.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I wouldn't, though. I'd have, Father Protective Services out here trying to save me. Enfield Chatter, our Hobby Talk section, part of the show. Who wants to drive a Mercedes? That's right, Yerman Mercedes. A 28-year-old catcher from the Chicago White Sox has the hobby all a buzz because he started the season 8 for 8. Okay. Has
8 for 9.
Okay, well, 8 for 9. But he has a top Series 1 auto that was like a $5 or $6 auto, right? All day long. It was selling for I saw up to $2,000 on one.
No.
Yes.
That's last time I saw it
was a parallel.
I was thinking...
No, it was a parallel though. And I'm
Gotcha.
oh, so I looked him up and I was like, I've not heard of this guy. And I find out he's 28 years old, and I go, okay, well, was he ever on the coming into the year, MLB.com had him listed as the 21st overall prospect for Chicago White Sox. And Ben saying, if you're 28, you're not a prospect, you're just a dude. And that's true. And it's like, are you telling me that you much rather spend $250 on a base autograph of a guy that went 8 for 9 over buying a low grade Nolan Ryan rookie card?
If we were cool enough to have graphics over our shoulders, whenever I say if you didn't want it yesterday, you don't want it today, a picture of his auto would hop up over my shoulder, flashing. Dude, the card's $6 to $8, and overnight it appreciates 25 to 30x. I mean, what are we doing here, people? Come on. I understand. Okay, if it goes up 10 to 30%, fine, right? A $10 card goes up to 13 to $15 overnight. It's just, come on, $250 plus on a card of a guy that's 28 years old. I mean, you got to be kidding me. It's just it's insane to think that. I get it. Maybe he's 22. I mean, you could at least justify the speculative theory behind it. I'm going to gamble with this, but this guy's 28. When a guy's sitting 14 for 67 and gets sent back down to the minors because he's just a dude, he's just a guy that made the roster because they needed a backup catcher. No offense to him. Maybe he has a solid Major League Baseball career, but not 25x overnight. There you go, Steph. Look at Steph pulling out all the stops now.
I like it. Yeah, and I had a conversation with my buddy Brian about this today, and it's he brings up LaMelo Ball. LaMelo's having a great rookie season. He's played a little over half the year, right? His Prism rookie is about $1,000, but you can go buy a Luka, not graded, for $400 right now. So you could tell me you could buy possibly, if you found a great deal, you could buy 3 Luka Prism rookies or 1 LaMelo Ball.
Or a Luka and a Nolan Ryan and still have money left over.
I'm just saying, so Luke has played 2.5 seasons. He's been an all-star. He's shown that he's going to be relevant in the NBA. He really, unless something tragically as an injury or something happens to him, he looks like for the next 5 or 6, 7 years, he's going to be a top, 15 player in the league, if not top 5?
At worst, yeah.
And the Sacramento Kings made a great draft pick when they grabbed him.
Don't, man. Please. I'm just saying. And so it's like, come on, guys. Like, just because the guy goes 8 for 8, that's awesome. Congratulations. It doesn't mean go and just throw crazy money on the guy. Like, I had some Nate Lowe.
There's a difference between a guy who hits for average and a guy who hits home runs. Yeah. This ain't it.
No, and my thing is I had these Nate Lowe autographs from Topps Series 1 from 2020. I had a base and a parallel black or something, and they've been in my eBay store for over a year. This was March of 2020 when they were listed. They just sold today. I didn't change the prices on them. They were both under $5. But I'm like, why? And I look, and he's had a kind of good start to the season for the Rangers, but I'm like, it's Nate Lowe. Like,
it's the Rangers.
The only way something like that, in my mind, and this is just my opinion, the only way something like that is justifiable is if you want to go out and grab a guy who recently got traded. Oh, I need to get all the Nolan Arenado Rockies cards I can because he's going to be with my Cardinals for a long time. Okay, I understand that thought process. But Tim and I were talking before the show, Steph, I don't know if you were on, but it literally has gotten to the point where go out and buy 100 $1 rookie cards over the last 24 months. Get them all, stick them all up on eBay for $250, buy it now, and just let them sit there. Because eventually one of them's going to do something stupid in a game or two, and the hobby's going to go nuts over this player, and you're going to wake up tomorrow with an eBay alert that this card you spent $1 on sold for $250. Because why? Because he did something, anything.
Yeah,
it's just
he had a dunk.
That's why we talked about Austin Hayes last week. Somebody goes, "Well, why did I get an Austin Hayes? Why did Austin Hayes randomly just sell? Oh, yeah, he had a home run in a preseason, in a spring training game." Okay,
yeah. And what's funny from personal experience, we'd mentioned this on one of the shows probably 2 years ago now. But Matt Olson was, his rookie year. I was buying his stuff, as he was just coming up for pennies, right? $2, $5, $7, right? And then all of a sudden he comes up, he starts hitting a ton of home runs. And he hit, I forget how many home runs, like 24 home runs in 59 games his rookie year because he didn't play the whole year. And next thing you know, these $5 cards are selling for $40. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me, man. And now here it is a couple of years later. He's an established major leaguer, a Gold Glove winner, struggles to hit over 200, but he's got a lot of power. And again, now I can buy his stuff. It's regressed to that mean. It's settled. Yeah, he's going to hit a bunch of home runs, but nobody cares about him anymore because the dude's 27 or 28 years old. He's been around for a few years.
He's 28 and had 14 in 84 games.
Who?
Chapman.
No, I was talking about Matt Olson. I think.
Sorry. Wrong Matt.
Yeah. His rookie year, I think he had 24 home runs in 59 games or something like that. It was an incredible run of a power hitter that's not going to have a lot of average. I mean, last year he hit a $195. Yeah. $195 last year. I said, dude, if this guy could hit 240 on average with his power, he would be a borderline superstar because of his defense. But he can't do that because, we're in this era of 3 true outcomes. Baseball has literally ruined the game with this launch angle, and everybody's got to throw 100 miles per hour and bullpens that have 14 players in it. It's just, conversation for another day, another podcast, so to speak. But,
yeah. I was looking real quick when I was talking about the Red Sox and Orioles. I was looking at the rosters on MLB.com. They're 26-man roster, whatever. Both teams carried 4 outfielders. But each one of the teams, they had an guy listed as an outfielder that basically all he does is DH. So I'm like, what happens if you need another outfield? Are you just going to throw a middle infielder out there? Like, yeah, you can play the outfield. I don't know. But they're carrying a roster of like 74 pitchers, and you're like, I don't know. I'm so happy baseball's back, and I've been watching a lot this year. But some of the changes in it, when you sit down and really watch it, like the how the game is. Like you said, the 3 outcomes, and it's just like
the runner on second base,
ghost runner on second,
innings, directly leading to the Twins losing a game.
Yeah, the A's benefited from it today. They're 0-6. They have an anemic offense. Their pitching staff sucks. I mean, and then they come back in the 9th inning to tie it 3-3, and then you get this dumb runner on second base. Luckily, Yusmeiro Petit gets out of the inning, and then the A's end up getting the runner over to third, and then he scores on a single, and it's just like, that's not baseball. We'll take the win because they didn't do anything wrong. They didn't cheat. It was within the confines of the rules of the game, but that's not baseball.
Yeah.
But
I have a question.
So what you're saying
would you take
there's orange slices after the game?
What's that?
Orange slices after the game.
Yeah, dude, I'd take their juice boxes. Hell yeah, I would.
I have a question. Would you take a really bad A's year, like a really terrible tanking year, to know that you were going to get a top 2-3 pick, and that guy, like, you were going to be able to kind of up that farm system, and it was going to kind of help you get going again? Or would you rather like to go in mediocrity and kind of like be like, we're kind of in it, and then halfway through the season you're not, and now you're picking 10 or 12?
So different sport, but as the Wild are routinely in the mediocrity tier, and so much that they're called mild by other teams, as if that's some sort of amusing, clever retort. No, I'd definitely rather them tank once and get a Russian from that's actually a decent playmaker than picking 12th, 15th, 17th year after year.
I wouldn't in baseball because there's no guarantee, right? We know that Trevor Lawrence is going to be barring injury. That's always going to be the caveat. So we'll set that aside. We know Trevor Lawrence is going to be a professional quarterback at the highest level for the next 12 to 15 years. He may not be great. You know, he may be injury prone like a Tim Couch or a David Carr or, you know, an Andrew Luck, somebody that's got to retire early due to injuries. But we know that outside of the injury, we know Trevor Lawrence is going to be around for the next decade and a half. To what level, we don't know. Guys like Mike Glennon and flipping Nate Peterman can have a job for decades on end. But there's that guarantee that he's going to play. And I don't trust the A's guy. The reason our farm system sucks is because we go in the first round, we take Kyler Murray. Dude doesn't get injured. We don't trade him like we did Addison Russell and Billy McKinney. No, he decides he's going to go play another sport. It's like you knew that was going to happen.
If given the chance to play or go to Oakland, I'd go to another sport too.
John Fisher is a cheap ass. The Bay Area is the Oakland. When people say Oakland are a small market, wrong. They're part of the Bay Area. It's like the 9th largest or some stupid. It's a very large market. They treat themselves like a small market team because John Fisher is a cheap ass. He owns the Gap. He's valued at $3.3 billion, and he doesn't want to invest any money into that team. The reason they took Kyler Murray is because I'm going to hand this guy $3 million in a signing bonus. He's going to go play in the NFL. He's going to give it back to me and go, well, I tried, and now you don't have to pay a first-round money. There's a reason that dude took Kyler Murray. They knew he wasn't going to sign with the A's long-term or, you know, put that caveat that if you want to go play in the NFL. So, no, I wouldn't do it for the A's because I'm an A's fan. If another team – I mean, you look at some of the other teams that have rebuilt. Obviously, we can go to Houston. Look what they did. You know, they were horrible, losing 100 games a year, but they drafted correctly. They developed correctly.
Well, they did pass on Chris Bryant for Mark Appel.
Well, hey, check this out, though. The A's during the opening series against Houston, when they announced the Astros lineup, they played Before He Cheats by Carrie Underwood and Ace of Base. I saw the sign. It's like the A's are awesome for that.
And they also take Brady Aiken, and he didn't sign. So they did get extra first. They did get an extra first-round pick, and it being Bregman. So
that ended up being Bregman. So, you know, I mean, development is not an exact science in any sport. I think basketball is probably the easiest to pull in out of the 4 major sports. You can kind of project them a little easier. But
So there's a caution here. Buyer beware. At Card Collector 77 tweeted out there was a 1986 top cello pack for sale with Jose Canseco on top. Now, I looked at that and I said, that's not possible. Now, Ben, I know you know why, but Steph, do you know why that's impossible that Jose Canseco would be on a cello pack in a 1987 pack?
Traded.
Yeah, he was in the traded set. So I was just like, what the? And it is the card. You can totally tell it's a Jose Canseco card.
Sure.
And then later on, CH Sports Cards did some more research and said, update, the sellers altered the title and the description to say it's a custom cello.
The hell do I want that for?
That's still a really bad look. Like, that's some shady stuff. So, and they wanted $40 for it too. And it's like, dude, are you kidding me? Anyway, I just thought it was funny. Project 70 at Trader Cracks, our buddy Ryan Crack. This is as of Thursday of last week, and we have some updated numbers. 296 cards, the Diamondbacks, White Sox, Cleveland, Rockies, Royals, Marlins, Twins, Rays, and Rangers have a combined 0 cards. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 teams that didn't have a card at all in Project 70. The Yankees at that point had 20. Our buddy Vosbrink updated some stuff the next day with 99 cards. There are 64 different players out of 9 cards, 47 different sets, 5 players that are actually on 2 teams, Ricky Henderson, Reggie Jackson, Mike Piazza, Albert Wilson, Deion Sanders. There was an update today. So through 108 cards, there was a White Sox added. Fucci did a Dick Allen Chicago White Sox card, and there are now 24 Yankees cards. They're 22% of the set. And there's also, I think, 2 or 3 Expos cards. And one of them happened to be Jerry Manuel, who went to Cordova High here in Sacramento and was a manager for a while in Major League Baseball and wasn't a superstar, but it was an interesting card. I just thought it was funny. But, I mean, like, I understand these artists have their own ability to pick and choose whatever team and design and whatever they want to do. But to ignore 8 teams now, 8 teams have been ignored. I don't know.
Well, okay, and then more so, how many of these didn't get a Project 2020 card? I'd be interested to see.
Yeah, all of them but the Royals. The Marlins didn't have a Project 2020. The Rockies wouldn't have. The Indians didn't. The White Sox, the Diamondbacks, the Twins, the Rays, or the Rangers.
So some of those teams are slightly understandable, right? The Marlins.
How does Bo Jackson not have a card? That's what I want to know.
Especially since Deion Sanders has 2. I mean, Bo Jackson is literally the better version of Deion Sanders.
Oh, yeah. Brian Jordan might be the better version of Deion Sanders, to be honest.
But it's just, and you knew going into it, guys like New York Nico, again, no offense to some of these artists, but he's a New York guy. It literally says it in his name. And he said, I'm doing 20 New York cards. So whether that means he's going to also include the Brooklyn Dodgers and the New York Giants in there, if it's just going to be Yankees, Mets, some combination thereof. So, okay. Going into it as an A's fan, I know New York Nico is not going to be part of my PC. To me, it just looks like so many of these cards are lazy. And there's only been a handful that are really, I mean, Alex Pardee has been phenomenal. It's a unique look. It's something different that we haven't seen. DJ Ski's Photoshop of Babe Ruth. I mean, I think a lot of people like the Satchel Paige one because it was Satchel Paige. It was something we haven't seen a lot of in the hobby. But now everybody is gonna, Mickey Mantle's gonna be in everybody's 20 card set because why not?
Yeah, no, I don't get it. Like, it's fine. It's like I said last week. It saved me money. I'm not hurt over it. I just think it's kind of, I kind of dumb to me. Anyway, by the way, Target now has a campground. Walmart used to allow people to spend the night overnight in their parking lots if they were traveling and whatever, so they have a safe place to sleep if they want to sleep in their RV or whatever. But now Target's letting people sleep out in front of their stores, like a homeless camp. I don't know. Our buddy Cardboard Icons been the best Ben in the internet.
Correct.
Out and Interesting debate on Facebook pages last night. Dude started camping at Target late last night, but some just set up chairs and went home. Should these spaces be saved if no one occupies the chairs? Not my pick. I'm not camping. There were 235 votes. Yes, a chair is good enough, or no person must be there. No person must be there. Won 98.7% to 1.3%. I agree.
I would take all of these and put them in the lost and found section.
I would take all of them and go home. Like, I just came up on a bunch of camping chairs. I'm
saying those things are like $10 each. I mean, you literally can. If I go steal 8 of those, I literally made $80, and all I had to do was park my car with the hazard lights on in the emergency loading section.
Yeah,
and
then there was Josh McMurray that tweeted, "I'm 10th in line at 6:50 a.m." By the way, Target doesn't open until most places, I believe, 8 o'clock. Little Purples said, "Hey, there's 40 plus people in line." So my question to you guys tonight, okay, so currently everybody is trying to because Target's basically a lot of Targets, and I think Walmart now has said this, that they're going to sell the cards only on Fridays at a certain time. But is it worth sleeping outside for a chance to be able to buy 3 SKUs of a product, or just 3 individual products? So say you were able to buy 3 blasters, you'd spend $66 here in the Sacramento County area, whatever. It's with tax, it's about $22. So you say you'd spend $66. You could sell them for $200 a piece, which means you'd make $600. But then you have shipping fees, and that. What's up?
Where are you selling them for $200? Because I haven't seen them go that high.
Yeah, I checked. I checked completed sold listings on eBay, and they were $198 to $204.
So we're just talking about Prism.
I'm just talking about Prism basketball as an example.
Okay, because other SKUs are maybe selling at 2 to 3x.
Yeah,
and I'm not standing in line to make $40 off of a SKU.
No, and so that's why I went this way. I went, okay, we'll go to the big boy. There was a bunch of Prism that came, and then you got about 15-20 in shipping, depending on how you ship it. You say you have 10% in fees on that $600. It's about $60. Your possible profit's about $500. But that's just on that one product. Now, there are people sleeping outside and they're buying Heritage blasters. They're buying they'll buy Top Series
Donruss
1 blasters. They're buying Donruss blasters. They're spending $66, and then they're selling them for $80. Okay, so you slept outside to make no money, or if you sold in person, like $15. I mean, I know Ben said he bought some Donruss off a guy because he couldn't get rid of them down in the Bay, and was like, the guy made like $30, but he had been sitting on this stuff for a long time, and it's like, and Ben was happy he bought these mega boxes. Not you, Ben.
Aguirre, not Cardboard Icons.
Not Ben Aguirre, yeah. And so it's, I was like, dude, that great come up for you. You didn't spend that much more a box, and you're happy with your purchase price. It was a decent price, and you got to open some stuff. I laughed. I was like, dude,
okay. Okay, so imagine this. You decide to camp outside your local Target, like as Ken puts it, the lowest common denominator. You camp out there for 8 hours to stock the retail shelf, the vendor, and you're there for 8 hours. You get in there and you're like, haha, $500 profit on Prism, and then you get stuck with Gallery and Archives. That's like thinking you're going to the prom with the prom queen and end up having to take your sister.
Yeah. Ken in the chat says, these guys' wives are probably having their boyfriends sleep over while these guys are camping out. I'm like, dude, those guys aren't married, man. Or if they are, it's somebody that couldn't get another dude. Like,
dang, we should hang out.
Yeah. Dude, you don't even know they're getting the other thing too is you don't even know if they're getting anything. They might not get restocked.
That's why you.
Well, and that's it. They might just get one box of Parkhurst and some Pokemon Magic.
Yeah, your best bet, to be honest with it, if you want to make some fun, quick, easy money, is go spend some time digging around sport lots. You can
take that
there's
money,
so many people that put stuff up there.
Compounding interest.
But I'm saying if you took 25, $50 and you went to sport lots and you went through, you could find some really good stuff and get it and have it to you and flip and turn and flip it and make money on it easily. The same if you went on to ComC site. That a lot of people years ago, that was always a kind of a fun adventure. Is like, hey, I got $25. How can I take this 20 and go buy $25 worth of cards and instantly relist them and see if you could make some money? And that was a fun little game to play. If you didn't want to go buy a blaster, and I just think it's crazy. And then Dub last week had this tweet out about supplier demand, and we just didn't get to it with the show because we had Doug on. Do you really think that supply is not keeping up with the demand, or is the supply being depleted by non-collectors to make it harder for you guys to buy at retail prices? So what this is saying is that people that aren't in the hobby are going and buying up all of the retail just because they know that people are thirsty. Hobby people are thirsty to buy this, and they know that they can make a quick buck on it. There are 574 votes. It was supply can't keep up, got 6%, 6.5%. Supply is manipulated, got 68%. Somewhere in between, got 25%. What do you guys think this would be? Like, do you really think market is being manipulated, or?
Yeah,
from what I'm seeing personally, anyway. When a guy can go walk in and buy even one box of Prism and then go to a card shop and flip it for astronomical prices, something's funny.
Yeah. Again, not all market manipulation is illegal, right? Because again, I've said it on the show before, we are influencers because people listen. If we say something and people react, that doesn't mean that we're committing an illegal act, but we are moving the needle. We are manipulating the market unintentionally or intentionally, right? We're not doing pump and dump. That's where it begins to border the illegality of it. Yeah. But yeah, if these people are buying something, especially the emphasis is on non-collectors. If non-collectors are going in there and they're buying up, a limited and finite amount of supply, and they're charging in excess of a multiplier of whatever X on the secondary, they're manipulating the market. They're creating a false sense of demand, and it's artificial scarcity. And it might be somewhere in between. I mean, that's not a wrong answer either, but I think it's really either or. I don't really think there's a middle ground here.
No, to me, it happens in all different markets. It happens with the shoe market. It happens in toys. I sent out a picture this week. I went to pick up some Easter basket stuff, and there were these dudes that were the guy at Target, like the 12-year-old kid they had working in toys, was unboxing his big boat of toys. He's putting away the Legos and all this stuff that had just come fresh in. And these two guys, and there ended up being a third, were just mowing through boxes, finding the Hot Wheels and chucking the Hot Wheels and going through them like wild beasts. And I took a picture and I was just laughing, and I walked by and I was laughing, and they're like, what's your deal? And I'm like, yeah, Hot Wheels. Knowing I collect cards, I'm a big dork. But these guys legit were just tearing, and the poor kid just sitting there watching these guys dig through his boxes, throwing all of his other stuff he's trying to put away on the ground. It's like,
you know what this hobby reminds me of at the moment. If we go back, whatever it is, 12, 15 years when the Priuses first came out, and they're this brand new hybrid, and everybody and their brother wanted them, and they were limiting the rollout to market. So you had to get on a waiting list, and then the price would go up from the MSRP when they got into the dealer's hands. They were supposed to be 10 grand and people were paying 18 grand for them. And again, they were just allocating these cars, right? It's not the first time a car came out. So in other words, this isn't the first time football or basketball cards came out. It's just, this is happening right now. And I think that parallel, that analogy is perfect in a couple of ways, because we know what happened with the Prius is eventually they became common, and other things came out to replicate them. But you had this false sense of demand generated by who exactly, and I think that's kind of where we're at right now, this phenomenon, and everybody right now is talking about it. And right now, yeah, we have extra money. A lot of people have extra resources to spend. It's just, I think that parallel, again, both industries are oligopolies. They're run by a very small group of individuals, companies at the top, and they can control the market. Yeah, and they've created this false sense of demand that we have to have this. Remember, this is not anything more than a hobby. We can all walk away from it. We don't need to eat it to survive. We can't drink it to survive. It's not transportation. It's not shelter. You don't need to be a part of this hobby. So don't fall for you have to have it. And I'm guilty too. I've never seen an Ace Parallel I didn't want to try to buy. So a lot of it's we've all got to make that decision for ourselves. But
yeah, well,
it's frustrating.
It is, and my thing is okay. So people are getting stimulus money, and they're taking. And the reason the government's giving that money out, and it's called stimulus money. It's to stimulate the economy, to get people to spend money a little frivolously on things, which is fine. That's what you're going to do, then do it. And that's awesome, right? If that's going to make you feel better about all the shit going on in the world, to get a new TV or to get a new pair of shoes, whatever, that's awesome. But when that money goes away, and also at this point in time of the year, people get their tax returns. So that there's also that influx of money that's hopping in right now. But what happens 6 or 9 months from now, when there's no more stimulus, everything's kind of getting back to normal? I'm just interested to see what happens to the market. And we're going to talk later about what Topps is doing, but I just have a feeling like I don't know. I think there's some people are going to be.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Well, no, and then also too, there are people, not saying this, but there are people that have taken forbearances on their mortgage, or that are, in financial trouble with their homes, that might not be paying their mortgage, and they're taking that mortgage money and buying cards with it, or they're maxing out their credit cards to do so. And so there's all this addition. So you have all these like kind of things confluencing together that never really happened all at the same time. And so that's pushing more money into it, because I don't have to pay my $2,200 mortgage this month because I've taken a forbearance. So I got an extra $2,200.
Newsflash: you still have to pay that back. For those people out there that
they're
don't
not
think
thinking about that. They're saying, "Oh, future Tim and Ben will take care of that. That guy's got my back." And so now they're taking that money and they're dropping, instead of putting it into their home like they should, or taking care of business, they're dropping it into the hobby. By the way, Hampson went like 3 for 4 tonight and had like 3 runs and 2 walks. And I got to leave. I got to go sell.
He got stranded on second base that one time, though, in the 6th inning. So I really think this is a downturn for Hampson. I was on a call with some fellow economists throughout the United States on Monday, and odds of there being a 4th stimulus package at this point is extremely low. I know it's got a lot of traction with certain congressmen. So the one that we recently got, number 3, is probably the last one. I know the state of California has slated a June 15th reopening statewide with no restrictions. Who knows if that holds?
Get his ass recalled.
The timing is extremely.
Save my ass time.
Dumbass. Oh, they want to recall me on July 1st. What if we open up the state on June 15th? But
dummy.
all that aside, right? I think by late summer, people are going to start returning to work. Unemployment benefits are going to start to expire. People are going to be able to wean themselves off of government aid. I don't think we're going to be getting any more lump sums deposited overnight. Tax returns are probably already going to be deposited or at least filed. So I think when we look at August, and people are going to have to start ramping up now for the holidays, right? You got Thanksgiving and Christmas on the horizon at that point, going into late Q3. And I think, again, more and more retail outlets are going to start closing up shop and just doing away with it. We've already seen a lot do it. I think it's going to continue to happen. So
there's
I
certain
think
locations that carry cards that are no longer carrying cards.
Yeah.
My Walmart, like right across the street, legit always had a great section, and they're not doing it anymore.
No, when I used to work for Hostess, in old days when I collected or bought packs and stuff, that one across the street from you, I used to buy a blaster when I'd serve that Walmart and that Costco there. You know, there's a lot of things that are going to change, I believe, over the next 4 to 6 months. And I know we're going to talk about Topps' announcement here shortly. I think that's going to have some influence over it as well. And I think it's going to change. I could be wrong. It's just all this excess money that we've been blessed with, for better or worse. Some people absolutely needed it to keep the lights on in their home and food in their kids' tummies. And some people didn't. And the people that have used it for excess, they're not going to have it anymore. And they're going to go back to their paychecks. And some people will continue to buy. And I think a lot of it, these celebrities that are involved with NBA Top Shot and everything, I don't think they're around for the long haul.
No. And then usually those guys are investing in restaurants, which aren't real good investments.
Oh, there's that too.
By the way, I just want to remind you guys, grading is great. Grading is the best thing in the world. It's so amazing. I don't know if Steph's able to share this time with his internet, but let's see if I can pull it up. This comes from Madhouse LBJ. Check this out, LOL. It's a 1920 Prism Pink Pulsar RJ Barrett rookie card. So a fan of I love the Pink Pulsar. I think they're really cool. BGS 10. Perfect, pristine card. I don't see anything wrong with it. Do you?
Well, the center's a 9.5.
It's the upside down parallel.
9.5. Oh yeah, the card's upside down in the holder.
Thanks, Topps.
There's just not a quality control that just makes sure, hey, the card's the right side up when they package it out to ship to the dude or the gal.
Well, reminds me of what that Project 2020 card where the person that encased it didn't remove the Ultra Pro insert.
Yeah.
The Tony Gwynn DNA.
Yeah. So awesome. Step back from that ledge, my friend. Drew Rips Cards tweeted this out. This hobby box will have me jumping off my roof later. We opened a box of 2021 Panini Prism basketball. And from the looks of it, he pulled I think it was a Jason Tatum that was like the big hit of the box. And yeah. Like his autographs were Nico something.
Brent Miller, Nico Mannion.
Yeah.
And this is the kind of box that I would expect, just because.
And what did he pay for that box? I mean, obviously we don't know exactly.
I mean, we know that they were going for about. Well, we all know that they were going for about $2,300.
Okay, so let's say you paid half that. Let's say you paid $1,000 for that box. Hell, $500. You know, this is like a reverse auction. $300, $200. At what point do you get to a number where you go, okay,
50?
There's some color in there. I like the color blend. You got a couple of autos.
Well, they have an Azubuike color parallel. I would buy.
Yeah. 32 cards on the table there.
Yeah. So
if $80, $100 maybe, you know, you had fun ripping it. There has to be that portion of it that can be considered. $100 on that? Okay. Not a great box, not a bad box. Blew $100. I mean, if the three of us decided to go out to dinner tonight with a couple of drinks, we could hit $100. Okay. But yeah, if you got into the if you got into the 4 digits on that box, ruh-roh.
Yeah.
That's
well,
bad.
And then also too, have you seen like the centering and stuff? They just didn't give a shit. I mean, like the quality control on the cards that were coming out are miscut and just awful. And it's like, in this day and age, that's not acceptable. Like with Topps and the Heritage, we saw more people coming out. Hey, I bought a blaster of Top Heritage, and all the backs were wrong. Like that to me in this day and age. That to me in this day and age, that is that bright particularly there. I don't care what the quality of the box is inside about the cards, but making sure that the cards are cut the right way and the right backs on them shouldn't be that hard.
Yeah,
like I can understand
the last thing you're worried
hobby
about.
Box having the the throwback to how cards may have came out in 72, but when it's repeated instances of this, guys, come on.
If we hopped in Steph's DeLorean, his time back machine, and went to the mid 60s, the Beatles were at the height of their success. And by 66, 67, they were literally crapping out bad music. It would, they were on drugs and all kinds of stuff, and the music got really weird. They didn't care because they knew you were going to buy their wax anyway. They drop it, you buy it, because the fans were pre-programmed to buy the Beatles music regardless. They were buying that vinyl and that wax as soon as it hit the market. Didn't matter what the song was. And to me, that's what this market feels like right now. So many people are going out and buying Prism because, oh my God, it's Prism basketball. I have to buy it.
You're telling me the first stuff the Beatles released wasn't crap and awful too?
No, I think some of it was brilliant. I think the first couple of years, I think it got to be, when they were talking,
it's just way overrated.
When they're singing "I'm a Walrus" and Norwegian Wood. I mean, yeah, I'm not going to argue with you. I think a lot of their music was overrated. I think "Come Together" was one of the most overrated songs, and I'm sure I'm going to get crap from Mark Hoyle over that. Big. I mean, he buys Beatles stuff like we buy Panini Prism Parallels. He's got to have it all, right? The more they made in the 60s, the more Mark wants on his shelf. I mean, that's no offense. I mean, he's got a ridiculous collection of Beatles wax and memorabilia. But it's just one of those things that I think right now, so many of us are pre-programmed as a hobby that we have to buy what's new. In fact, there was a dude, you mentioned Dub earlier. There was a guy, Dub posted something Jug Wax era related, right? And somebody responds to him, and he says, why would you buy this kind of stuff? Everybody wants the modern stuff, watching the players that they can watch right now and cards that are going to appreciate and then they can sell. And Dub's response to him was, I don't think my timeline is for you. That's probably a bad follow on his part. If that's your mindset and Dub's mindset,
I had a tweet this week that got a lot of love. Like I was watching the Sunday Night Baseball game and Shohei's pitching to Luis Robert, and I'm like, hey, you guys remember when people collected these dudes? The only thing is if Vlad Guerrero somehow could have been in the picture too, because Shohei was 18, Guerrero was 19, Robert was 20. We've moved on. These guys are old news. We're into 2021. We don't care about anybody else unless they're in this class.
It's like the late 90s when the boy bands were all coming out and everybody was all over the Backstreet Boys. And then, whoops,
Menudo.
NSYNC came out. Then the 98 Degrees came out. And then the Milli Vanilli came out. And then, Menudo and New Edition. And the next one trumped the next one. And then eventually we all moved on to, Beyonce and a whole different genre. And that whole boy band era was just left behind. Like
we got a guest weighing in here. '90s boy bands. '90s boy bands.
'90s boy bands. What do you want to know?
This is great radio.
Hey, you quoted me from episode 77.
Yeah, this is great. It's always Steph bringing in the awesomeness. We were just talking about how '90s, how like we're on rookie baseball guys are, we're on to the next one every year, like boy bands back in the '90s. From one to the next. What was your favorite boy band, Ange?
NSYNC.
Who was your guy?
Who's my guy?
Who was your guy from NSYNC? Like everybody has the like. I was
I was a JC Chazé guy. That dude could sing. That dude had some pipes.
Yeah, but he looked so odd.
Old. Real quick, I bet Ange was a Joey Fat One fan. Or Fatone.
No.
I'm sorry.
Nope, it's not that one. Keep guessing.
Lance Bass? Lance Bass.
That would be the one.
Heather was a Lance Bass guy too. Yeah, Heather loved him, and then you found out that he wasn't going to love you girls back.
Yeah,
Not in the same way.
Nope.
I think that crushed a lot of young ladies' hearts. Underrated boy band from the '90s, who hated being called a boy band, was the English band BB Mac. They had some good stuff in their 15 minutes.
It was all about the Spice Girls. Vintage cards.
It was all about the Spice Girls.
I love this. Oh, Baby Spice.
I saw that movie 3 times in the theater.
Of course you did.
We're about to get canceled.
What are you guys saying?
Yeah.
It was a good movie. It was well done. Good music. Elton John had a cameo.
Our buddy Bean tweeted out today, if you're I can't even talk tonight now after the boy band stuff. Yeah, if you were to start a vintage card project, which cards would you buy first? Would you go with commons first to make it faster set process, or buy the stars and/or SPs first? He has 230 votes, or 235 votes so far. Commons at 53%, and stars and/or SPs were 46%. I personally voted commons because I think it's easier to run down some of the stars.
I voted commons one just because you get that quick jolt of, hey, I'm going to actually finish this. I might actually finish this, but it also mix in the occasional big stars. So when I have 10 twins left and 67 tops, I might pick up the Rod Carew and then work down the last 9 remaining.
I'm on the other side of the ledger on this one. I think I'm closer to a 68 setter if I ever wanted to pursue it, because I've got all of the big name stars. And I think once you get that, it's a lot easier to go pursue the commons, because you don't feel like you're going uphill at that point. You feel like you're going downhill. I got the expensive cards. I can always go get the commons. Card number 12 of Hokie Gajwan, second baseman for the New York Mets. I can always go get dude. It's going to be the Mantle and the Mays and the Aaron. Those are the ones that are going to cost me money. And if it becomes cost prohibitive to do so, then I'm not going to pursue that set. I'd hate to buy all the commons and get 70% done knowing that I've still got to buy all the bangers and then realize, oh, this is going to cost me $800 to do. Maybe I shouldn't have started this project to begin with, but now I'm neck deep into this set and I feel almost obligated. I think you got to go get the big ones, or at least a mixture thereof. I think.
Yeah, I've built 77 through current, and I'm working on the 70 through 76, and for 75, I already had a Brett. I bought a second Yount, and I bought the Ryan. Those are probably the 3 top cards in that set. But I bought them about half. I pulled the Brett out of the PC, but the other 2 I bought about halfway through after starting and being able to buy. What I was doing is finding a big lot. I was lucky enough to run into at the card store or online, finding like a big lot of the 70s era stuff that was in pretty decent shape where I could buy in bulk and then kind of figure it out and go from there. So that's kind of how I.
Yeah, you could probably get a partial set. Let's say you wanted to go do 69, right? So it's your last Mantle. It's one of your last Mays, one of your last Aarons. I mean, I know they had some cards through the mid 70s, but those ones aren't as expensive, right? But 69, you're going to have to go get the Jackson. You're going to have to get the Nolan Ryan. You're going to have to get the Johnny Bench. You're going to have to get the Tom Seaver. There's other cards in there. I guess it comes down to this. How many cards would you consider star cards? What, the top 10, the top 15? You probably have to price those out, right? The top dozen, go price them out and find out, okay, realistically in a condition that I'm comfortable with, it's going to cost me $500. And what would the rest of the set potentially cost me? And overall, is it worth pursuing this over the next 5 years?
It's fun
at
to
that
do
cost. Oh, it is. No, it's awesome.
It's one of the most fun things to do.
Especially when you get that second baseman from some random team that has no name that you've never heard of before, but he completes.
Or the checklist.
Cards 1 through 100, or I've got the first 100 cards of this set, and or the checklist, or the team card, manager card with the team checklist on the back that's not all penciled up or pinned up. There might be a couple on there, but it's not too bad.
66 Topps Chichi Olivo, sorry. Infamously high series, infamously rare.
Because he died, right?
I believe so.
Which is the one, Steph 67, that had the Phillies guy that is a stupid high price on it because it's a high numbers and it was kind of rare? I know we've talked about that card before. Yeah, it's 67.
The guy that was the toucher.
So Mark Wilkins in the chat, a great friend of the show, says Stars and SPs first, always easy to buy a partial team within one purchase. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. A lot of it depends on your finances at any current snapshot. But I think if you're going to start a project, right? So Tim, you're going to start 75 now, and you know that Brett and Yao are the big boys, but you still have Schmidt and a few others that probably Nolan Ryan, Reggie Jackson, that aren't going to cost you
Jim
a ton.
Rice, Hall of Famer Jim Rice.
But yeah, if Reggie Jackson's going to cost you $15 and Mike Schmidt's going to cost you 12 or whatever the blend is, right? That still is going to add up.
Yeah.
Right? For a handful of cards, that first 20, 30 cards, maybe you're lucky you already had the Brett because of how you collect, personally. But I would have to go out and buy one. I mean, I have one, but if I had to go out and buy one starting with nothing, you're going to get a lot of semi-stars or borderline Hall of Famers, guys like Steve Garvey and stuff, who would be in his fourth year, who's still going to cost some money. Maybe not a lot, but $4 or $5 over a 700 card set's gonna ding you.
Trust me. The only out of that, the run from 70 to 76, the only real big one I need is the 73 Schmidt. So
yeah, and again, if you bought one right now, if you got one, I don't know if we're going to try to go to that card show in a couple of weeks in the Bay Area, but if you're able to snag one, and I think that's how you decide to do a set too. I mean, I happened to get the Mantle from 68. I got the Mays and the Aaron in a different deal, and now it's all of a sudden it's like if I got the top 5 or 6 guys, and for me, low grade 2s and 3s on these cards, if they were to be graded, I'm good with rounded corners, especially on a 68 set, because it's not the most attractive, but at the same time, if I've already got all the big boys, why not?
Yeah. So going public this week, the Athletic, ESPN, a bunch of people reported this. We just pulled this from the Athletic article. Baseball card company Topps, valued at $1.3 billion, to go public via SPAC. Topps, best known for trading cards, will become a public company through a merger with Murdoch Capital Acquisition Corporations 2. The company announced on Tuesday. The transaction is expected to close in late second or early third quarter. Combined company, and the combined company, valued at $1.3 billion, will still be named Topps. Michael Eisner, the former CEO of Disney, will stay on as Topps chairman. SPAC, they're a shell company with no products or services. They're created with the intention of attracting investors through an initial public offering, an IPO. The SPAC and its financing exist to then acquire established company. To acquire an established company. They are nicknamed blank check companies because they typically are funded long before the acquisition target is known. They're a way for established companies to get capital infusion with less volatility, risk, in uncertain times, like a pandemic, without going through the traditional IPO process. Dozens of them have been created and funded by sports team owners and athletes over the past year. Topps' current owners It's a prime time. So it's a prime time to raise money from wealthy people seeking alternative investment opportunities. Additionally, Topps has moved into the non-fungible token blockchain crypto space that's generating enormous sums of money from collectors and from investors looking to flip. Topps also has pop culture, non-sport, candy, and gift card products that generate steady revenue. Topps is expected to bolster its direct-to-customer sales efforts to expand more into more NFTs and other products and grow internationally. Perhaps the biggest question right now is with the intense consumer demand for cards, which are increasingly expensive and hard to find on store shelves, will Topps stave off any pressure to crank up the printing presses? Product discipline is what helped it survive after the disastrous overproduction of the 1980s, 90s junk wax era that wrecked much of the card industry. So that was a big part of the article. What do you think this means for Topps' future by being a publicly traded company?
As far as the collecting service goes, I would say that it's no different than owning a quote-unquote share of the Green Bay Packers, except this is actually a little bit more legit.
What do you think, Ben?
So this probably could be a show in and of itself. On the short term, I don't think it affects Topps a whole bunch. It's not going to affect their production, manufacturing. Why would they go public? They did this in the 90s. You have to figure what typically the reason the company would go public, if we just want to boil it down to like one simple, is for capital. You know, you're trying to raise capital for some reason. There's a lot of, they want to get bigger in the international market. Obviously, NFT, you know, you see this is very curious with the success of NBA Top Shot, with baseball holding that MLB license. I think that's one of the first moves is you're going to see a baseball version of NBA Top Shot roll out soon. I think that's really what it comes down to. My other thought is, within an oligopoly, there are ceiling caps, and I don't know where the monopoly ones currently are, but I know Topps owns a digital one, I believe, for the NHL. I could honestly see them coming after a partial license for the NFL, NBA, or NHL, if not all three. I don't know what they can do as far as those licenses go without infringing on the monopoly laws. I think it sits somewhere between 25 to 30% before they would have to sacrifice their exclusive license with baseball. Maybe they can only go after one sport. And I think the big boy is the NBA because there's a lot of money right now in the NBA. That's the one I would go after if I could, if I'm Topps. But I think this is just to raise some capital to get into that NFT and start to challenge the NBA Top Shot with a second player in the market. As far as it goes, now that you have Topps being publicly traded as of probably Q3 when all is said and done and it actually rolls out the IPO officially under the TOPP name, I think what's going to happen is you're going to start to see SEC oversight. You're going to start to see industry regulations, starting with breakers. Breaking is a form of gambling, and where it violates certain state laws when it comes to the lottery and gambling, it's probably independent on each state respectively. But I can totally see higher taxation on breakers. I can see breaking exclusives, which one of forget which follower on Twitter had mentioned that. You'll start to see, you know, people like Mojo Break have exclusive products being released, or only 4 or 5 breakers will end up getting Transcendent, and that's the only way to acquire it would be through one of those breakers. You're probably going to see a lot more online exclusives because they're going to have even more regulations and things.
Do you think front run? You think they're going to, because you know when you're public now, you have people that are invested now into your company, and their money speaks more than anybody else's. It doesn't matter.
It does. Yeah.
And do you think they're going to say, "Well, shit, you're selling all these boxes. Why don't you just make more of it?"
So let me toss this back at you. I'm going to answer a question with a question because I proposed an interesting thought. What at this point would stop Topps from just going online direct to consumer? Cut out retail, cut out the LCSs. Everything is online. They already do it with obviously Project 2020 and Project 70, but you got Living and Now and Throwback Thursday. They have so many Bowman Sapphires and Bowman Draft First and all this stuff that's already direct to consumer, online exclusive. Why not hold back? I mean, now you control the market even more. You can get into the secondary market. I believe Michael Eisner had said something about wanting to control more of the secondary. These companies are losing a crap ton of money to the you and the me's of the world. What do you guys think about them just saying screw the LCS?
They don't have infrastructure to do that.
Not yet.
Look, I mean, but they're cut. Like how long is it going to take, and what's it going to cost for them to ramp up to get there? Because right now, you see the quality of stuff when they're shipping it out, or how long when they do get busy, how long it does take them to ship stuff out. It's crazy.
And to Ben's point, I'd be curious what's your guys' opinion on. He said breaker exclusive product. I mean, they essentially already are. How many boxes of Transcendence did you break last year, Tim?
4 or 5. None.
Yeah, they only made 80. He couldn't get more because they only made 80 or 82.
Right.
Yeah.
No, but what if Bowman Sapphire drops this year and it's hobby exclusive or it's breaker exclusive to Blowout, Steel City, and Mojo, and that's it?
I mean, already.
It's top heavy. It's not that exclusive. But here's the thing. Okay, I can't go out and get a paper route because I don't have a car, and that's going to be the most effective. Okay, I come to you and say, all right, Tim, you want a paper route and you don't have a car. How much money could you make if you did have a car? Okay, well, I can make this amount of money. I can make $20,000 a month. Cool, I'm gonna go buy you a $10,000 car, and then we're gonna split your profits 50-50 until you pay me back my $10,000, and then I want 20% of everything you make in perpetuity. That's a good deal for you, and you're gonna take that. All it takes is capital. They don't have the infrastructure today, but they're going public with the IPO. How many shares are they selling, and how much capital is that going to infuse into their company? We don't yet know.
Yeah, but do they want to spend that capital that way, or do they want to go more and do this NFT stuff and more online things? Because, dude, their website gets hacked. Their website gets hacked all the time. It's bots are able to just get in there and just wreak havoc. I mean, just up in it.
I threw that out there yesterday, I believe it was, and somebody's, is this really happening? I'm like, no. It's not happening. It probably won't happen. My thought is it was just for argument's sake, just to have fun conversing.
I honestly don't think a lot is going to change, but my big thing is the production aspect of it. And so people are like, well, that doesn't matter. Then everybody gets more of it. Yeah, but at the end of the day, if you want a collectible thing, having a little bit of it being limited a little bit carries a little bit of value to you, to the overall. If you ever wanted to sell it to somebody that would like to buy it, because when everybody has it, just look at Project 20. That was on order, right? Printed demands. So if only 5 people want it, they made 5. But when 1,000 people wanted it, they printed 1,000. What happened was people were like, "Oh God, we're making a lot of money out. I want to get in there. I want to get out." And so then there was no, like Ben said, there were all of these buyers that wanted to flip it, but there was no one to flip it to because all of the people that were buyers originally now were turning to be flippers. So they're all stuck holding the bags. And all these cards, nobody wants them.
You're all looking like John Travolta in Pulp Fiction, where he looks around the room like.
If you go to Teammates here in Carmichael, he has 2 like showcase little, that you would see at a card show. 2 of those full, just stacked with Project 2020 cards of guys, $5 or less. And if you buy 4 of them, it's $15. So
and then my dad bought some, took them over to the antique store here in town, and flipped them for $20 each. Because the people over here that are buying them don't know what the market is. They just see a cool card and buy it for $20 because.
But what I'm saying is,
$20.
We already have this like a little mini junk era right now with Project 2020, and thank God it's not really gotten that point with I think Project 70. And I don't think we will.
people are bitching on Facebook all day long in the Project 70 or Project 70 2020 groups because they're like, why is the secondary market not picking up? It's like because nobody wants this anymore. We didn't ask for it. Because
they can go and they know if they want it, they could go just buy the shit direct.
Yeah, no, Project 70 didn't come out of nowhere. Everybody saw it.
Yeah.
It's got 19 out of the 20 artists from Project 2020. We all knew about it. Everybody's buying it firsthand in the 3 days, not 2 days, the 3 days it's available to us. If you want that card, you'll buy it today. You're not going to buy it at a 5X on the secondary. So no, Mr. quote-unquote investor in Project 70, you're not going to make your money. You're not going to get your nut off of this because I've already bought mine. I don't need yours.
By the way, on a side note, Leaf will release some more cards today. They had a Giannis and a Fernando Tatis. So they've expanded out. We had a golf one last week. We had a baseball and a basketball one. So I went and I bought some more Leaf cards, guys.
If they ever make an Ace card, let me know because I'm not really following the release.
Before we move on to the next topic, I got one for you. Cardboard Icons posted this. Speaking of not fully licensed companies.
By the way, my dude, just one of my favorite dudes. Like I'm gonna put it out there. Like I like you guys a lot, but if I had to pick, wouldn't be hard. Sorry.
Yeah,
get a room, dude. Get a room. So here, one thing real quick before we move on from the whole Topps IPO. I'm going to tell you this much right now. If they drop this, okay, so when you go public, you have to release all kinds of financials because investors are going to need to know what they're potentially investing in, right?
Oh, yeah. They get deep inside you.
I'm going to tell you this right now. If Topps releases that information on a Wednesday, I'm probably not going to be on the show that day because I'm going to be looking like Woody Harrelson in Indecent Proposal where he's like swimming in the cash. I'm going to have that paperwork and the amount of stuff that we're going to be able to dissect from those.
Well, no, what we'll do is we'll have you on. We'll just have you muted. And then anytime during what Steph and I are doing on the show, you can just hop in and drop like a nugget and then mute yourself and go back to reading.
I'm saying this is going to be fascinating if they end up going public, assuming nothing happens and nothing's set in stone until that IPO drops. A lot of variables can happen still, but if they have to and they release those financials, oh boy, I might have to take a vacation.
Are you guys buying any stock in this? Are you buying any Top stock?
Right now, you can buy it through the S-Pack, and I guess it's right around $11. So it's technically not post-merger yet, because of course that probably won't happen until late Q2 or Q3. Right now, a good buddy, been featured on the show a couple of times, James Kikowski. Yeah, he's my spirit animal because we're both old curmudgeons and like to bitch at the wall for no reason and yell at the wind. But he's like, I have to buy at least one stock so that when I go on Twitter and bitch about Topps, I can now say, I'm a shareholder.
Well, and you'd be surprised the amount of people that I've seen say that exact thing. Those back pages, several huge hobby people wanting a single stock. I mean, even
one of the
Angela
IPOs I ever bought was NVP.com.
Never heard of it. So I think we, as About the Cards, need to do fractured ownership of one single stock. So if it's $11.79, we all need to pitch in, $3.90 so that we can buy one stock.
You're gonna get your wallet, so Shep's gonna have to cover $6.
Shoot, man, that's cool. When it goes down to $8, then he can also eat the loss.
When while we wait for Tim to come back here, do you see anything wrong with this? It's for those without the visuals, it's a 2021 Donruss Alex Rodriguez in the 1987 design.
So when you look at this, no, you have to be eagle-eyed. I mean, if you're just Steph, if you open up a pack and you're flipping through, you're not going to notice anything wrong with this.
I mean, I did. I just didn't post about it yet. He beat me to the punch.
So what is wrong with it?
Tim, any guess?
You can see it says Seattle Mariners on his hat.
It does. Right there. Seattle Mariners.
But where is Michael Jordan in that picture?
Well, see, they have the Players Association license, so they can use player names, but not the league license, so they can't use team names.
You would think somebody would have. I mean, if it said A-Rod on it, you're already photoshopping the helmet as you're illustrating on the screenshot right now. The bat is literally right next to it. I don't care if you can't see or not. It says something on it. Why not just black that out too? And
maybe they're just hoping that it passes and someone thinks it's just blurry scribble.
Semantics. But I was watching that Red Sox. I took a lot away from a terrible Red Sox Orioles game, and Christian Vasquez, I think he was playing catcher for the Red Sox, had so much pine tar on his helmet. The bee was you could barely see the bee. Panini should just be they won't even need to Photoshop his helmet because the shit was covered up. I was like, does he work for Panini? Like he already just took care of it, and the bee's not visible.
Who was it that earlier today actually had a ball taken from them because they were being accused that they were scuffing the ball up.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Trevor Bauer.
Anthony.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's
even said he's cheated on purpose to see if he could get caught.
If Kevin Biggio has a normal helmet where you can see the Blue Jays logo, I think that's a serious missed opportunity as an ode to his dad.
Yeah. Or the little sunflower that he used to wear. What's that all about? Anyway. We got to get to the question of the week tonight. This is our last one. A 9-pocket team page from the 20s team. I think we're going to have so many misses on this team. We're going to look back in about 6 years and look dumber than shit. But here we go, Ben. Who's in your starting lineup for the next decade?
Catcher, I went with Sean Murphy, who's probably a miss because of injuries. Now, I like your. I think it came down to 3 guys, and I'm not going to trump on yours because I think yours is one of them, and I think Steph might have had the other. I went with Sean Murphy just to be a little different. I think Murphy might have a good chance at being the catcher of the decade, except for the fact I just don't think he's going to be healthy enough. At first base, I put Vlad Guerrero, and I also put Andrew Vaughn of the White Sox. I think Guerrero ends up as a DH in the next year or two, so I don't think he sticks at first base long enough to qualify for this list. And since we're doing it moving forward, and we're not allowed to have a DH, right, Steph? I think Andrew Vaughn might be the first baseman. I put Albies at second, Tatis at short, Ke'Bryan Hayes at third, Juan Soto in left, Acuna in center, Kelenic in right, and Sixto Sanchez as my starting pitcher.
Steph, who was on your team? And congratulations for being able to stick to.
He didn't though. He had
9.
He had Trout as his DH.
Yeah, I know, but he's still left it at 9. So
I did. I've been skirting the rules every single week in a new way. No, so as they already ruined, I have Trout moving.
Where did he have Trout moving?
To the Yankees in a
Correct.
trade for Giancarlo Stanton. All right, I'll hit my team up while Steph figures out his mic there. So I had Adley Rutschman behind the plate, which to be honest with you, okay, we didn't know who Sal Perez and Yadier Molina really were because they were signed as 12-year-old free agents. So I'm telling you, there's going to be catchers that come through that we didn't hear of that weren't drafted, and those are going to be the guys on the team. Because I'm telling you right now, Bart is not long for the job. They have Patrick Bailey, they say is better than Bart, and that he might not even be long for the franchise. So that just tells you right there what they think. Anyway, I had Adley Rutschman at catcher, Cody Bellinger at first. Now the man can play every position. And so I kind of finagled the rules and figured out as he gets older, they might put him back at first. Bobby Witt Jr. playing second base. I know he's listed currently as a shortstop. He's getting in time at second and center. I think he finalizes down at second base. Fernando Tatis at short. I put big fat Vlad Guerrero at third. Kind of like Miguel Cabrera type career, but again, like he could move to first. He could be a DH by the time the decade's out. Juan Soto in left, Acuna Jr. In center, Aaron Judge in right field, and Walker Buehler is my starting pitcher. Now, I like the fact that I had 4 juniors on my team, so I'm doing something well because I had Witt Jr., Tatis Jr., Guerrero Jr., and Acuna Jr.
Testing.
And what's funny is that Witt's dad, Fernando's dad, and Vlad's dad all played for at some point in time for the Texas Rangers.
Bonus information brought to you by Big Shep, the Stump the Schwab.
All right, Steph. So who's on your team, buddy?
So as they already ruined my right field pick for Trout, I think he eventually slots over. And or becomes the DH if Ohtani gives it up. Not too different. My shortstop's kind of a bust in that when I picked it, we didn't know that he'd rip his shoulder out. Fernando Tatis Jr. But I still like it if he can rebound from that injury. Been there, done that.
His arm didn't fall off. The whole guys dislocate shoulders all the time.
He'll be back in a few weeks. I mean,
with labrum tears and being able to throw and hit.
Steph, what do you even know about shoulder issues? Come on, man.
Yeah.
No,
You're
I'm
not
only
some kind
on
of medical doc.
17.
All right, so who's your catcher?
And full, not partial.
Man, do you video game hard, bro?
Joey Bart at catcher. I would have went with Rushman, but it's already chosen. Wanted to pick someone different. Vladdy Jr. at first base. I think he eventually moves over. Maybe DHs. You're not wrong. Second base went with a homer pick, but hey, I believe in him. Luis Rise. Maybe not the best defense at second, but it can't stop him from hitting. Third base went with Bregman. Don't like him. Astros, but you got to respect the talent. Center field's really solid. Outfield is really solid for this decade. Soto, Acuna, and again Trout. And then starting pitcher, I just wanted to go with someone slightly different. I think he moves on from Detroit. I pray that he moves on from Detroit. Casey Mize.
Not bad. I think we're going to look back, though, and just look stupid in hell.
Sure.
I don't. Just hear me out for just one sec. The year's 2030. We're in what year? Season 12 or season 13 of About the Cards podcast. It's nationally syndicated.
Yeah. We've replaced you.
Ben, you died off. Something happened tragically. We're not sure.
Probably.
He has a Dateline episode and
said the wrong. It's Keith Morrison. So he went on Twitter one day and said something to somebody he shouldn't have.
Yeah, he's more than. Yeah.
I think. I think our catchers are probably the 3 best potentials in Murphy, Bart, Rushman. But I think 10 years from now, I think it's somebody else. I don't think it's either of those 3. I think second base, we had Albies, Witt, and Arise. I think the second base slot will be somebody else. And I think because it's such a hit or miss position, I think starting pitcher, as much as I love Buehler, and I think that might be the right pick. We went with Sanchez and Mize. I think starting pitcher will probably be somebody out of nowhere in 2025 that has a Max Scherzer type career over, a little bit that kind of flew under the radar at first. So I think more or less, if you look back, I bet we nailed the other 6 positions, but I think catcher, second base, and starting pitcher, I think we all missed on. But to your point, Tim, I think it's because we just don't know who. How can you forecast if the dude's 18 years old right now?
Well, and I got to agree. The starting pitcher was like the last position that I'd settled on. And even then, it's not. I'm really not settled. And he's gone.
Yeah, I mean, just to finish up that thought, it's such a volatile position, and injuries happen. There have been so many great starting pitching prospects that just, whether it's a Brian Taylor who got into a dumb injury on his own volition, or whether it's a Todd Van Poppel that was rushed to the majors. The list goes on and on of players that just didn't pan out, and awkward arm guys like Chris Sale and Tim Lincecum who've had Hall of Fame potential along the way and suffered injuries because of their delivery.
Or who was the Cardinal guy that just went down? Not Waino, but
I didn't see that. For me, baseball season has not been fun the first week.
So real quick, so these were from Bleacher Report. Real quick, the top 10 MLB prospects that never were from the 2000s. Number 10. It's gonna hurt, Ben. This one's gonna hurt. Nick Johnson.
Good buddy though.
First baseman for the Yankees. Rick Ankiel. Jeremy Hermida. He was a guy for the Marlins
for a while.
Yeah. Andrew Miller, the guy that was he had a couple bright spots there with the Indians as a reliever, but he was like drafted with like.
I wouldn't call him
he wasn't what he was supposed to be, though.
Correct. As an Indian future number one starter, he wasn't, but he had a serviceable major league career, and I think he made an all-star team, did he not?
I believe so. Adam Miller.
Trevor Rosenthal.
Shut up.
Adam Miller. He was going to be part of the Cleveland Indians' big rotation at one point. Rocco Baldelli, the manager of the Twins. Andy Marte. I think he even did he pass away last year, 2 years ago, right? And also says Brett Wallace. I remember when the A's traded for him.
Oh, boy.
Brett Wallace.
Astro talent.
Brandon Wood of the Angels.
Yeah.
Remember, he was a third baseman that was going to be dope. Corey Patterson.
What number are you on? Like 2 or 3?
No, I'm sorry, number 2. Corey Patterson of the Cubs.
Okay. Number 1's got to be Matt Bush, right?
Number 1, Mark Pryor.
See, and he had a decent career. I mean, obviously,
he played 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think he's a bust because Todd Van Poppel came back and had some decent years out of Detroit's bullpen. Not great,
okay,
but
here's some honorable mentions, guys. Ruben Mateo, Drew Henson, Alex Escobar, Joe Borchard, who was a quarterback at Stanford, then was with the White Sox, Jesse Foppert, Dallas McPherson, Andy LaRoche, Franklin Morales, Matt Bush. So, I mean, there's so many of these articles. But what I'm saying is that we're never going to know because these guys, you go back to the 90s. Like Greg Jeffries he had a decent career, but he was not the guy everybody thought he was going to be. And we think these are going to be the guys. And I think we have on Soto, Acuna, Tatis. I think those are, and Bellinger, because he's won an MVP. Those guys are probably going to be pretty solid bets. Guerrero Jr. probably, but the other guys are all kind of
Yeah, but how could Matt Bush not be number 1? Didn't he go to prison for severely beating an old man? I mean,
it was a drunk driving thing. Yeah,
he was a shortstop that got converted into a reliever, and he had a cup of coffee at the majors. I mean, Matt Bush is one of the. I mean, he goes down the lore of Brian Taylor, the guys. I mean, then he went to prison or jail or something.
Hamilton.
I mean, that's different than some of these guys like Dallas McPherson who could just never put 2 and 2 together at the same time.
Yeah, well, Josh Hamilton at least became a multi-time All-Star. He won an MVP. He actually did stuff with his career at some point. He was just a bust for the Rays.
Yeah,
so 39 months, including no contest related to a drunk driving incident.
See, you get a guy like Delman Young, who's an all-time number 1 overall bust. But again, there was an article written years ago about the Delman Young trade tree. And how they traded him, and then the guys they got gave them 18 years of service, and then or team control, and then they traded those guys. And the Delman Young tree is still profitable to this day for the Rays because they just keep trading these prospects. And hell, Delman Young might still be creating assets for the Rays 50 years from now. If you look at the tree as it goes down, it's like, so to be honest, that was a hell of a draft pick.
Would you rather have Delman Young would you rather have Delman Young or Dimitri Young, the brother?
Dimitri, because he wasn't a head case. I mean, but
I'd much rather have his baseball card collection he was building at one point in time.
But yeah, did we get any listeners that put their
no
together?
No one really responded. Maybe I didn't word it the best, but that's how it goes. Guys, any final thoughts before we head out tonight?
Any final thoughts over there? She's snoring. Nope.
All right. Remember, we're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on YouTube.
10 Central.
Make sure to subscribe and review our show on all platforms. Follow us on Twitter about the cards. Follow Ben at our trading cards. Follow Steph at Junkwax Twins. You can always follow me at Big Ship 79. Please share hobby stories, great polls, and send your questions our way. Keep collecting. We will see you next week.